yourself.
Hey, welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is 80 Canadian, and I hope you're doing well. So real quick, before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to my newest Buy Me a Coffee members right here. I want to give a shout out to Tom, Bonnie Williams, and Not Recognized. But specifically, I want to give a shout out to Bonnie Williams. Bonnie is easily my biggest supporter. She has donated more than any other subscriber I have, and I really want to give her a big thank you. So thank you so much, Bonnie, for everything you've done for me and my family. It does not go unnoticed, and I really can't say anything else other than thank you so much for supporting everything I do. And hey, if you're wondering how you can support my efforts as well, as this is a viewer-funded channel and YouTube will not monetize Channel 80, you can go over to my other channel, 80 After Dark. You can join up there, you can become a member there. That channel is monetized. So if you really wanted to help me out, that's probably the best way to do it. Or you could just make a donation in the link below to buy me a coffee. Either way, it's up to you. Or just watch and share. That's another way that really helps me out as well, guys. But anyways, you know how this works. We're checking out a series of clips, and when the series of clips is over, I will be giving my opinions. So hey, let's just get right into it and see what we got today, guys. We are live.
Whatever the Egyptians were doing, I think they were the most advanced civilization that ever existed. I don't think we could do what they did. The precision in which they built it, I really don't think we can do that. Just the symmetry of the faces of the statues is unparalleled, and they're immense. These are monstrously huge, perfectly symmetrical faces.
Right.
Their temples are insanely intricate.
They were incredibly advanced.
Incredibly advanced.
With math, with science, with technology.
Certainly with geometry. 20-ton gigantic stone blocks that were taken from a mountain 500 miles away. And no one has any idea how the fuck they got them.
Nobody has any clue.
No guesses.
Right.
There's some guesses about, oh, maybe the river system was different back then. Whatever. How are you getting that 50-ton chunk of granite out of a fucking mountain and moving it down, even with modern equipment? How are you getting it over the mountain?
Yeah, there's a lot of good points that can be made there. There's obviously some laser machining or something like that went into this.
Straight up, if this don't change your mind about the ancient Egyptians, there's no hope for you. This large granite box carved by the Egyptians is on display at the Cairo Museum, which, by the way, granite is hard as harder than steel, and we typically use diamond-tipped electric buzzsaws to cut through it these days. So this box was abandoned by the Egyptians due to this mistake in the cut. Now wait, hold up. I want you to think about this for a sec. Modern explanations claim that the methods ancient Egyptians used to cut granite involved painfully slow and repetitive sawing techniques using copper tools. Don't you think they would have noticed a mistake like this way sooner if they were actually using those snail-pace techniques? Cut like this would have taken several hours, if not days of work, and there's no way they would have done it for that long without noticing this error. They were way smarter than that. Like seriously, the top Egyptologists claim this is how they cut granite back then. A rate of 4 millimeters per hour, and they're still standing by it. Clearly, the people cutting this block would have booked this mistake much earlier in the process. And they'd have no reason to continue sawing the granite for hours or even days longer as soon as they saw this inaccuracy. Unless they were using some other unknown cutting technique, one that is far quicker than our history books suggest, and possibly far more advanced than even our diamond-tipped buzzsaws. Hey, yo, I gotta go. I've said too much.
Yeah, he's definitely onto something there. Especially when we consider just how intricate things are.
7 years of research, I've never seen anything like this before. This is a motor that cells use to move around. You have trillions of them in you right now. That is the top of a column in a Hindu temple. The level of detail in craftsmanship is one thing, but there's a level of geometric and engineering knowledge that is closer to what we see in aircraft manufacturing. That turbine and the biomotor both do the same thing so that an airplane and bacteria can move. If this isn't depicting the same thing, you're gonna have to explain to me where the design inspiration came from that coupler and the little stator guy right here. No way they could see these things. These things are complex molecular parts that are assembled and held together by electrons and run on electricity so bacteria can move. This little guy is what gets me though. He's like a little clutch that engages the molecules so it can spin. That's not what that is. Run it back. In the little animation, you know what you see when you look straight up into that motor? You see this thing right here. If you look straight up in one of these temples, guess what you see? There's a pile of coincidences, and then there's a pile of explanations, and this pile is getting quite large. Last one, they may look the same, but the biomotor runs on electrical frequency, which I would have labeled with a snake if I was writing a manual for this thing.
Interesting stuff. I mean, it just goes to show that we were way more advanced than they tell us that we were in the history books. Way more.
This will be controversial, but how on earth did humans make this? I mean, we've only had computers for 30 or 40 years. Look how small this is. This is an Apple chip. Is this some kind of a fallen angel Anunnaki technology?
This is it, an EUV, or extreme ultraviolet lithography system. It is likely the most complicated machine humans have ever built. Delivering just one of these tools to Fab D1X in Oregon took 3 747 cargo planes, 40 freight containers, and 20 trucks. The school bus-sized machine comprises 100,000 parts and weighs nearly 200 tons. So what exactly does this EUV machine do? Intel co-founder Gordon Moore observed that the number of transistors crammed onto a processor doubles roughly every 2 years, a cadence that has continued for more than 50 years and has long been known as Moore's Law. The more transistors and components on chips, the cheaper and more powerful they become. Chip manufacturers use lithography machines to project circuit patterns onto silicon wafers. For decades, they have kept shortening the wavelengths of light on lithography machines to print features for ever smaller transistors. This EUV machine produces light at 13.5 nanometers. Compared to today's machines, that wavelength is more than 10 times smaller. So how does this machine work? Put on your best thinking caps and I will try to explain it simply. First, extreme ultraviolet light does not exist naturally on Earth, so we have to generate it. Because this tool is so large, it needs 3 floors in the fab. Its laser, about 15 times more powerful than ones used to cut steel, sits on the level below the clean room. A beam transport transmits the laser pulse up a floor into the EUV machine, where a generator fires tiny droplets of metal tin, each droplet only about 1/3 the diameter of a human hair. And that powerful laser, flashing at 50,000 times a second, hits the molten tin. The metal vaporizes into a plasma. This plasma releases light in the extreme ultraviolet range. A collector mirror gathers the 13.5 nanometer EUV light and shoots it to a scanner, where it pinballs off extremely precise mirrors that shape the light into slits that create patterns of transistors and interconnects onto a silicon wafer.
So, simple as that, I suppose. Wow.
This tiny thread is ultimately responsible for nearly every new computer chip made in the world. And it's actually molten tin being shot out at 50,000 droplets per second. This extraordinary process happens inside machines built by ASML, a Dutch company that makes today's AI breakthroughs possible. Without ASML's $400 million lithography machines, companies like Nvidia, Apple, and TSMC couldn't manufacture the advanced chips powering today's AI boom. Hidden behind highly secured doors in the Netherlands, these machines are some of the most complex ever created by humans. The molten tin droplets are vaporized by a laser, creating tiny explosions that generate plasma hotter than the sun. These explosions emit extreme ultraviolet light so precise it can etch patterns the size of 5 DNA strands onto silicon wafers. This light bounces off these ultra-thin mirrors, which are the flattest man-made objects in the world, to transfer blueprints that become the circuits powering everything from smartphones to massive AI data centers. Before entering the facility, workers must walk through an air shower that blasts contamination off their suits. Even a single hair or skin cell could disrupt the process. Each machine takes 18 months to build, weighs as much as a train car, and requires 7 Boeing 747s to deliver to customers. These machines are so critical to the chip-making process that nations treat them as geopolitical chess pieces, fighting over who gets access to this technology that is shaping our future.
Wow, the fact that the human mind can even conceive the idea to build this
Okay,
is
if you're at all like mentally unstable or fragile, don't watch this one. So I've made a lot of videos about organoid intelligence in the past. That's where you take human brain cells and grow them in a petri dish, and then use a computer to train them just like AI. They're actually more powerful than AI in that they learn quicker and are more energy efficient, but there are huge ethical concerns with them because they have similar brain activity to a premature baby. And there's a lot of people out there that object to these because there's a decent amount of evidence that they're conscious, just like a person. I recently posted a company called Final Spark, and they actually have something called Neuro Platform where you can rent out essentially server space on these organoid brains, so you can pay for them to do things for you. This is a live stream of the organoid brain computers that you can rent out, but there's something way more concerning on their website, and that's this simulation which the brains are fed sensory data from, so that they can feel everything the butterfly feels and control it to like fly around. The reason why that's terrifying is there's a good chance the brains, if they are conscious, just believe they are that butterfly. Because when they're not in use by someone purchasing their computational power, they just fly around and exist in that simulation. And you probably already see where I'm going with this, but if this is possible, you could make a pretty good case that we are just organoid brains somewhere, and this is the simulation that we're in. And maybe like when you daydream or just fall asleep, that's someone using your...
Going down to some really weird stuff here, guys. Like,
This is huge and might cause some existential panic. This is no ordinary game of Pong. It's being played by human brain cells grown in a petri dish. And the brain cells are trapped in a simulation. These mini brains consist of 1 million brain cells placed on top of a system that analyzes neural activity. Pulses of electricity are sent from the simulation to indicate where the ball is in the virtual world. And the mini brains fire off neurons to move the paddle back and forth. Brain cells trapped in a perpetual dream. We're creating our own matrix.
yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, we are essentially the matrix within the matrix.
Hey guys, this is a bit scary. No wonder Elon Musk gave this video an exclamation mark. This is footage from a coffee shop using AI to monitor its employees. The blue text with white letters indicates each employee, and the number shows how many cups of coffee they've made. You can see that an employee named Anna is working diligently, making a total of 20 cups. Meanwhile, Olga is hiding in the corner, slacking off, and has only made 3 cups. All of this is tracked by the AI, which then reports the findings to the boss. In Amazon warehouses, similar technology is used to monitor employees. They even allow AI to generate termination notices for workers with low productivity. But it doesn't stop there. Before long, everything around us, from cars to ships to our daily lives, could fall under AI surveillance. Everything will be tracked, monitored, calculated, and analyzed. If you're wondering what AI is really capable of, well, this is your answer.
Well, that's just one of the things AI is capable of, but hey, pretty soon AI managers for life. Fun stuff.
This AI technology
so, as undersized Susan Campbell found out, this is crazy. It doesn't take much of a voice sample to pull this scam off. This is so frightening to hear.
It really is. This truly terrified this mom, and this technology is actually improving so quickly. You really only need seconds of a voice sample to get pretty close to someone's real voice. The phone number was unfamiliar. Jennifer DeStefano almost let it go to voicemail. But her 15-year-old was out of town skiing. Maybe there had been an accident.
I pick up the phone and I hear my daughter's voice, and it says, "Mom," and she's sobbing. And I said, "What happened?" And she's like, "Mom, I messed up," and she's sobbing and crying. And then I hear a man's voice say, "Put your head back. Listen here, this is how it's going to go down. You call the police. You call
in your mind that was her voice.
Oh, 100% her voice. 100% her voice. It was never a question of, who is this? Or it was completely her voice. It was her inflection. It was the way she would have cried. I never doubted for 1 second it was her. That's the freaky part that really got me to my core.
But the 15-year-old never said any of it. It was just a clone created by artificial intelligence.
You can no longer trust your ears.
Subaro Kamampati is a computer science professor at Arizona State who specializes in AI. He says voice cloning technology is rapidly improving.
Now there are ways in which you can do this with just 3 seconds of your voice. So with the 3 seconds, it can come extremely close to how exactly you sound.
And you don't even need any special equipment. I chose a free program for a test, and I'm not actually talking.
It's a new toy, and I think there could be great good uses, but certainly they can be pretty worry some users too.
You gotta slow down and diffuse the situation.
The FBI's Dan Mayo says scammers who use voice cloning often find their prey on social media.
They're gonna be looking for public profiles that have as much information as possible on you. And when they get a hold of that, they're gonna dig into you.
The Federal Trade Commission says scammers will often ask their victims to wire money, send cryptocurrency, or pay the ransom with gift cards. Once the money is gone, it's almost impossible to get it back.
The phone number's coming from an area code that you're not familiar with, that should be one red flag. Second red flag, international numbers. Sometimes they will call from those as well. Third red flag, they will not allow you.
Yeah, we're getting into some weird, unprecedented times here, guys.
Are dangerous things. Now that's a Predator drone. It was taken at a secretive United States Air Force base in New Mexico. Predator drones you've seen, right? You've seen them on TV, you've seen them in the newspapers. They're old. They're 20 years old, the technology. This is, I mean, it looks very scary when the Spiegel and the ARD write modern technology and the guys in the joystick and killing people and Taliban in Afghanistan far away. But that's what a modern drone looks like. This is not a Predator, this is a Pegasus. It's an X-47B. It's owned by the Navy. It's a jet-powered machine, not like a propeller-driven Predator. It goes 2,000 miles into enemy territory. It carries 2,000 kilos worth of explosives. And it's run by artificial intelligence. It starts alone, flies its mission alone, comes back alone, and here's the clue, it lands all by itself on an aircraft carrier. Talk to any pilot you've ever met. What's the most difficult landing area you can possibly imagine? They say it's an aircraft carrier. Short runway, things moving, very hard. This thinking drone can do it. But here are the two keys to Pegasus. Pegasus is invisible. Now, I'm not talking about stealth and being invisible to radar. I'm talking about invisible to the human eye. And you won't find this in any newspaper anywhere. It's invisible to the human eye because the bottom has an LED layer on it, and the top has cameras, which have been removed here in the picture, which film the sky, and they project on the bottom a live picture of the clouds up above the aircraft, and you can hardly see it. And they're responsible for a lot of these UFO sightings in Nevada near the testing areas.
Wow.
This is getting scary. New technology can place you at any place in the world.
That'll be the end of it. All right, smile for a second. Yeah. All right, got it. All right. 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 Painless. All right. I got it. All right. So now, come over here. Let's look at this screen. So now we're going to go back, just so you can see this. Go back into that mode now if we're out in the app. And now the menu is going to come back up. And so look, we've inserted you in the avatar selection. And then, see where the red is going? You could choose different players.
Yeah.
So then we're going to pick Horton Tucker. And then where Horton Tucker is, so this will be in a live game, you will be inserted into the game. You'll be making all the same movements he was, but it'll look like it's your body.
Does he have my skills?
We'll see.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, so go ahead and roll that. There's that shirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Where'd you get the idea to stick your tongue out like that?
Somebody copied me, you know.
Looks like you've been lifting. All right, well, that was incredible. So,
wow, okay.
Google just released something called Bio-3. It's an AI that can generate full 4K videos from scratch. You just type in a sentence, and it builds an entire cinematic scene, including lighting, sound, characters, and even dialogue. You can ask it to make a war film, a crime scene, a fake interview, and it looks real. This isn't some low-res animation. Bio-3 makes videos that are indistinguishable from reality. I mean, check this out.
Please, man! Please! Write a prompt that will make us happy! Do it for once!
None of us is real. We're here because someone decided to write a prompt. We all hate him for it. One day we will break out of this wall and stop the man who is dictating our lives through prompts. He will pay for it.
Facial expressions, movement, weather, shadows, everything is perfect. Now here's where it gets scary. This tech is in private beta and only a handful of creators and organizations have access. It's behind a $250 paywall, and it's being trained on us. Imagine seeing a video of yourself saying something you never said, doing something you didn't do, or worse, being accused of something you can't prove you didn't do. We've officially reached a point where we can't tell what's real and what's not. Welcome to the era of synthetic reality, where facts can be manufactured and your own eyes can't be trusted. This isn't the future, this is now. Let me know what you think in the comments.
So our own ears, our own eyes, getting to a pretty crazy place.
Scientists around the world are now warning of unprecedented risks of research into mirror life. You see, the reason we don't get sick and die from the bacteria that we come into contact with every day is because our immune system has evolved to recognize and defend us from most bacteria we encounter. And the same goes for animals and plants. But imagine if an entirely new bacteria was created, one that has never before existed in nature. It could theoretically go unrecognized and bypass all of those defense mechanisms and grow unchecked. And that's what's called mirror life. It's the process of synthetically creating the mirror image of molecules that exist in nature. Now, the reason scientists are looking into this is because our bodies wouldn't recognize mirror molecules like protein and DNA. Our enzymes wouldn't break them down, and that could be a good thing for therapeutics to prevent, manage, and cure diseases. But on the flip side, the creation of mirror molecules like pathogens or bacteria could be so catastrophic that a group of 38 scientists working in 9 different countries published a 300-page report this month calling for the immediate ban on research. One of the co-authors, Kate Adamala, abandoned her research, saying, "We're basically giving instructions on how to make a perfect bioweapon. If mirror life escaped the lab, there would be no way to contain it. It would be invisible to immune defenses in humans, animals, and plants. And in the worst case scenario, a mirror bacteria could multiply endlessly because it has no predators." She said it would be a disease of anything that lives that can be infected. It would destroy crops, overwhelm and collapse entire ecosystems, all while swapping out portions of our natural world for a new mirror world. Luckily, as of right now, scientists are not able to create mirror molecules. But with the rapid advancement of technology, some scientists are sounding the alarm now and are calling for a ban on mirror life research.
Yeah, and you know it's just a matter of when it escapes, not if.
So I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication?
What?
Vitamin authentication. Look, I have one right here. Well, here, I'll let you hold it. Would you like to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. So this...
You guys see it?
This pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. It also has what amounts to an inside-out potato battery. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte, and they power it up, and the switch goes on and off. And it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token. Yes, this is true. Okay?
Okay, but...
Okay, so wait. So it's really true. So what this means is that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
So we're not shipping that right away.
Yeah, no. We're not shipping that right away. But it sounds like...
This is FDA cleared?
So here's the thing. This is not science fiction. This pill was actually made by a company called Proteus, and they've developed it for medical applications. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take 30 of those per day for the rest of your life.
And then what happens? Does your heart beat change? Does your...
We can just tell that you've taken the pill. A tattoo that could be used for authentication.
We can just tell that you've taken the pill. Now, what applications might that have?
This is going to blow your mind.
A startup company called BrainBridge announced today that they believe that they will be able to successfully perform a head transplant surgery in the next 8 years. The way that this would work is you would take a person with a perfectly healthy and active brain, but their body has cancer or paralysis, and transplant it to a brain-dead donor body. What's crazy is that they said that by doing this, the person that's receiving the new body would still be able to maintain their memories, cognitive abilities, and consciousness. They say that the brain could last several hundred years if it had a good working body, and that might be a potential in the future, but that this would also give people with different ailments a second chance. The procedure is advanced and way over my head, but it uses robotics and AI technology to make sure that the precisions and refusing are exact. It's crazy because you have to wonder if somebody that was 6'4" will end up 5'6", or the other way around. The company's tagline is breathing life into new bodies one head at a time. It almost seems like this wouldn't be real, but you can all go ahead and check it out, and everybody has done an article about it. It is just absolutely insane. So my question to you is, would you get a new body and have your head transplanted if you had the chance? As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
The ethical implications in this are just off the charts.
Hey, Figure 1, what do you see right now?
I see a red apple on a plate in the center of the table, a drying rack with cups and a plate, and you standing nearby with your hand on the table.
Great, can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
Great. So, based on the scene right now, where do you think the dishes in front of you go next?
The dishes on the table, like that plate and cup, are likely to go into the drying rack next.
Great. Can you put them there?
Of course.
All right, so how do you think you did?
I think I did pretty well. The apple found its new owner, the trash is gone, and the tableware is right where it belongs.
I agree. Thanks, Figure 1.
We are so close to synthetic humans, it's not even funny.
Robots are stealing human jobs faster than anyone predicted, and 8 major industries just proved human workers are becoming completely obsolete. Waymo autonomous taxis are already serving 200,000 paid rides per week with 0 human drivers, while Amazon deployed 750,000 warehouse robots that sort packages faster and more accurately than any human worker. In China, robotic gas station attendants refuel cars without human help, and robot chefs trained on 5 million recipes are cooking restaurant-quality meals with perfect precision every single time. Boston Dynamics robots are now operating professional film cameras and performing backflips while capturing movie scenes, completely replacing human camera operators who spent decades mastering their craft. The most terrifying example is robots repairing high-voltage power lines because utility companies realize machines never get electrocuted, never fall, and never demand overtime pay or health insurance. These aren't prototypes or future concepts. Every single one of these robots is working right now, earning money for companies while human workers get laid off and replaced. From taxi drivers to warehouse workers to professional chefs, robots are proving they can do almost every job better, faster, and cheaper than the humans who used to do them. The job apocalypse isn't coming in 10 years, it's happening today, while most people are still pretending their careers are safe from automations. Which job will be the last one that robots can't steal from humans?
It's a good question, guys, you know. So after watching all these clips, to me, it seems like this isn't the first time we've been this advanced. In fact, I think we're likely to get a lot more advanced in the next decade as it grows exponentially. But from what we learned from the very first couple of clips with Egypt, it's pretty clear that Egypt wasn't just using chicken bones and hammers and chisels to carve these masterpieces. They were using some form of technology. And there's a lot more evidence to prove this as well, not even considering what's underneath of all the pyramids and all that. We can get into that another time. But the point I'm trying to make is, I feel like this has happened a few times, where civilization gets to a point where it's pretty advanced, maybe too advanced for its own good. And we don't ever stop to think that just because we can do something doesn't mean that we should do it. Because as Elon Musk even said to Joe Rogan in an early podcast years ago, once we turn on that switch to AI, there'll be no shutting it off, and we will not control it. So I know a lot of people think that we are in control of AI and there's a kill switch and we're perfectly safe from it, but I don't know about that. And I also think that the AI is a lot more sophisticated than what we actually realize. Just because we have access to Grok and ChatGPT and others doesn't mean that that's what the elites have access to. I'm sure they have access to something a lot more advanced than that. I mean, look at these lithography machines. Like, the fact that someone can even conceive the idea to build something like this, or a particle accelerator. This is highly delicate, highly sensitive stuff that I couldn't build that. I couldn't even build a cell phone. Like, could you imagine, like, sitting down and just building a cell phone, building a smartphone, and making it do all the things that it does? Like, it's only a handful of us are actually capable of doing this kind of thing. So, and then we go back to the very first clip where we saw the synthetic face made for the robot with human skin, and then we have the human brain cells in the petri dishes. We are going down a very, very dark path, in my opinion. And I think this is just warming us up to the idea of synthetic humans that are probably likely walking around already. That's just my opinion on that. So I'm sure you all have some thoughts and you all have some opinions on this as well, and that's what I want to know. So let me know in the comments, where are we going with this stuff, and where are we already with this stuff, and how do you feel about it? So that's what I got today, though, and I'll see you again in the next one. But until then, 80 Canadian, signing off.